Ann from Game Like a Mother. For this month's top 10 list, I am sharing the top 10 games to play with people who don't want to play a game with you, which happens to me quite frequently because I want to play games all the time, and sometimes people just don't want to play a game with you. And so I make them. And these are the games that I choose. I'm going to start with the kid games and then move on to adult games because even adults sometimes just don't care and don't want to do fun things with me, even though they should. To start, I'm going to share number 1 on this list, which is OranguTwang. This is just a great game. A lot of the times, kids don't want to play a game because they're not used to playing games. We'll have friends come over for play dates, and maybe they just don't play as many games at their house, or they don't want to learn a bunch of rules, or they're really concerned about losing. And for some of these, you just pick something where the game itself is enough of a reward and you aren't as concerned about winning or losing. And OranguTwang is fantastic in this respect because you just are balancing little fruits on this orangutan who's hanging from a vine, a wire, and you want to be careful when rolling the dice and placing things on him because he'll go twang and fly up in the air. And if that happens and you're the one who placed the fruit on him, you lose the game. So kids, we do this on playdates all the time, and they don't even care if they lose because it's just funny and hilarious. And so this is just one of my go-tos, and we use it all the time. Next on the list, I have a similar game. Loopin Chewie is a Star Wars themed game, which helps a lot of times to just have the right theme when the kid won't play a game with me. So this one is, there's Chewbacca going around in a circle on the Millennium Falcon, and you are playing, a lot of kids at first have trouble with this. You're playing on the side of stormtroopers. Yes, you are a stormtrooper in this, and but you're competing against other stormtroopers. And Chewbacca's flying around trying to knock little tokens in, and you're flipping Chewbacca back up, and he tumbles around in the air and then tries to knock the next person down. And there's an art to it. My 8-year-old son is a terror at this game and times it just right and knocks people out. So this is another great playdate game, or just a game to give as a gift for kids that want to get out something quick and easy. The one thing that I'd say is you really need to have 3 players to do this well, which is kind of an awkward amount, like 3. But it's a great game. Star Wars theme, gives it a couple bumps up on the list. And whenever we have a play date, this is one of the ones that kids are super happy to get out and play with for 5 minutes and move on to the next thing, or play with for half an hour because they can't get enough of it. Next on the list, I have Rock, Paper, Scissors, War, which is another one of my surefire hits that I get out. And how can you go wrong if you combine 2 classic games? And it's really easy. It's just a deck of cards, and you're playing rock, paper, scissors with cards. And then if they match, you get to have a war and play another card down and it's the same as war. You're trying to collect all of the cards. So sometimes people don't want to play because there's too much of a learning curve. No learning curve with this. It has a wide range appeal for kids, and I love it for siblings because there's really there's no skill involved. It's luck. I know this because we purposefully try to lose to children at times because they're so much happier when they win, and it's hard to lose even on purpose for this game. So it's nice. You play and you play through one time. You don't have to collect all the cards, so that actually is like 5 minutes. But everybody knows the basic rules, and it's fun and it's easy. Great one to pull out. Next on this list, this has made a few lists because it is just such a great game. Outfoxed is a great choice for a child who's really worried about losing because it is a cooperative game. And there's a lot of cooperative games out there, but I keep on putting this on lists because it's just my favorite of the cooperative games. They all have different pros and cons, but this one's just so clever. It's a whodunit game like Clue, but it's quick and it's easy. It has this, you're trying to figure out which fox stole the pie. And so you have all of these suspects that you're uncovering as you roll the dice, and as you move around the board, you're able to uncover clues with a little decoder. And maybe we play too easy, but we've actually never lost this game. You can have more difficult ways to play where it's more of a race against the fox, but we end up playing on the easier end of the spectrum, and everyone is very happy at the end. So it's just a surefire, in our house, a surefire happy game. And cooperative games help a lot of kids out, and I really enjoy that about them. And it's good. It teaches them about teamwork. It's like, I say for people who are like, oh, I don't like cooperative games, it should be more competitive. Just pretend like it's like you're making a basketball team, and you're a basketball team playing together against the game, if that makes you feel better. And a lot of the cooperative games are actually very challenging, especially when you get up to adult games, and people can still manage to fight during a cooperative game if they try hard enough. So if you want some fighting in your games and worry won't happen with cooperative, good news, it still can. Next on my list is Super Mario Brothers Power Up card game. Sometimes children would rather play video games than a board game. And even my board game obsessed oldest son is like this a lot of times. And it's helpful if you have a game that you can bring out that is basically like a video game, but in board game form. You have a certain amount of lives. It's kind of like classic Mario themed, and you're trying to get power-ups, and you have some special abilities, and you're just trying to have higher points. It's a simple enough premise. You're trying to have higher points on your cards than the people around you, and you can play cards to lower their points or increase yours, and you trade around. And so it's a great pick for a child who says, oh, I'd rather just play a video game. And you say, no, play this card game with me instead, and you will like it. I always tell my children, you're going to have fun whether you like it or not. So this is a good choice for that. Next, I have Cat Stax on this list, which is technically a single player like puzzle game, but it's great to do. It's a puzzle. You can do it together as a team, so it can be a great choice for somebody, again, who doesn't want to get out a board game and do a whole. It's essentially a bunch of little puzzles, and they have different versions. There's dog pile and haystacks for younger children, and the cute pieces make up the puzzle pieces. So they're all in Cat Stax. It's all little cats that are different sizes and colors. And then dog pile and haystacks. Haystacks is a great choice for younger children. And the other two are, I would say, at 10 or 12 and up, they're quite challenging, especially when they get to the expert level. So children would only be able to do the beginner levels of Cat Stax or dog pile, but they could do much more with haystacks. And they're all just really cute, great choice, very compact, portable. Next on my list, I have Klask, which is like a magnetic, coffee table sized air hockey. And this is a great game. It's amazing how young kids love it, but we've had adults come over, and I mean, everybody likes the air hockey, and it's a pretty fun novelty game to pull out, and it's well done. It's really pretty, and they have certain rules to keep it from getting too rough, which is great because my boys were trying to see if they could make the little pieces fly across the room, and you were penalized for that. So I appreciate that about this game. But everybody seems to like it. Everybody's familiar with air hockey. It's a great one to have handy for playdates from young to old. Next, I have Cover Your Assets, which is now we're moving into definitely the more adult games on the list. And this one's great because you'll have a family gathering, and every family gathering is improved upon when you get a game out, obviously. And so this one I like because it is like a full-fledged game. You're trying to collect the most money, and you're stealing from each other, and there's some strategy from what you have in your hand, but you can get up and running so quickly, which is, for a lot of adults, including myself, a big stepping stone to get over in order to play a game, because you say, oh, I just want to sit here and relax. I don't want to learn a bunch of new rules. You just, if it's a pair, you can play it, or you can steal a pair from somebody else. Game explained. And so there's a few other things about how many cards you have and the particulars of where you can steal from one another. But that's basically it. Just make pairs, play them, or steal from each other. And so you can get up and running really quickly, and it's a really fun, competitive game. So we enjoyed that about it a lot. I also have, kind of in the same vein, Roll For It is a great dice game that is the same thing. It's just roll your dice, try to match up your dice with there's 3 cards out in play. Whoever gets their dice to match those cards first wins. And it's turn-based, it's not speed. So you take a turn, roll your dice, try to figure out where you want to place them, and you take turns around, and then you're able to collect cards and win. So it's a great one that you can talk to, and it's quick to get up and running, and it's really fun. We enjoy it's not like a throwaway game. Oh, we'll play this game because it's easy and we can do it with these people even though they don't want to play a game with us. It's fun. We really enjoy it. So it's a great one to get out when people need an easy, quick game to play together. And last on my list is Yamslam, because it's like the Grand Slam, so to speak. It just ticks all the boxes, and it makes a lot of lists because it's basically a variant of Yahtzee. So everyone's familiar with the premise of the game, but it's quicker, simpler. You're just rolling dice to collect the chips that are around the outside of the board, and whoever gets the most points wins. But there's a few extra things you can get that's not in regular Yahtzee, and it's quick and easy. You literally, what you're supposed to roll is written on the chips that you're supposed to collect. So you just say, roll the dice up to 3 times. It's like Yahtzee, collect the chips, and then you win. And then you're up and running. And it appeals from young to old. It's portable. And it's just a really good game. So good luck. The next time somebody says they don't want to play a game with you, get one of these out and have a good time. So thank you so much, and we'll see you next time from Game Like a Mother.